Well, are we going to start?
Yes. Hello. Hello. Good evening. Good evening, wherever you are. East Coast, West Coast, Center Coast, wherever you are around the
Center
world.
Coast. I like
I like
that.
that too. Hey, taking the journey together. Sharon, you want to go ahead and get us on the right path? We got two people already looking and bucking. Got a special show.
Absolutely. Good evening. And here is what we always say at Taking the Journey Together.
Hmm.
We are going to relate. It doesn't matter what our mother, father, sister, brother, or even what Jesus says, we are going to relate. But at Taking the Journey Together, we want you to relate in a balanced way. And what we mean by balanced is that you meet someone and you foster a friendship with that person. And
Hmm.
as the friendship grows, so grows the relationship, and you grow the relationship into a committed relationship. And then you form a lasting relationship, a thriving relationship, a healthy relationship
Hmm.
with that person who is not only your friend, but also your lover.
Yes, and what lovers and friends you can have. Get them together and you get icing on top of the cake. Hey,
Yum.
before we go into our topic today, okay? Before we go into our topic, let's first start and basically we'll briefly talk about where we do our thing called taking the journey at real quick. Let's start doing that in the
Okay.
morning first.
All right.
Radio program where we do it,
WRUU
107.5. What time?
at 9 o'clock on Saturday mornings, from 9 to 10 o'clock on Saturday
Okay, hey, don't
mornings.
go away. Make sure you share. Stay around. We got a good show. Most of you guys have heard about the slap that went around the world. We are going to kind of talk about that because it has to do with relationships. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Come on over to Taking the Journey Together and
Tell your
listen.
partner and do it
Exactly.
and watch it together.
And you'll get some good information together that you can take with you as you've done before. So,
Yes.
what are we also on besides this good ATR um, radio? I am gonna say radio station TV, live
Network.
streaming network. Where are we? Where are we at?
Well, we also do walk talks,
Yes, we do.
and we're on YouTube for that.
Okay. What's a special thing that we just got that we're going to be sharing with people on part of the talent we do to help them out in life?
We are now relationship coaches.
Yes.
And so, therefore, we are able to help you, guide you to as you work your way through having a healthier relationship.
Hold on. Are you saying we haven't been before this time? We just been thinking the funk?
No, we haven't been faking the
Okay,
funk,
so
but
you mean we've now got the sheepskin
we got a
that says
piece
we
of
know something?
we got a piece of paper that says we know something.
So yeah, we'll be talking more about it. We're doing individual counseling, or we're going to do some group counseling. We're working on
No, coaching.
coaching. Excuse me. We're
Coaching.
working on a large kind of coaching event in the island here real soon.
Yep.
We'll be letting people know about. It's kind of like not like a seminar. What would it be?
It more like a retreat.
A retreat, exactly. So we'll tell you more about it. We'll get your tickets. You want to get your umbrellas. You want to get your nice swimming stuff on because it's going to be a nice, beautiful, comfortable place to come and sit down. Get the chance to talk to you one on one. You get a chance to talk to us one on one, and get to know your couple, who you're with, who you love, who you care about,
Partner.
your partner much more. And where you're at, you be away from all the noise, all of the everyday distraction.
I was getting ready to say life's distractions.
And so just be you, her, or him and her, and with us in a beautiful, beautiful scene in the background. I guarantee you, once it's all over, you'll go back and, hey, if you can't keep that relationship at another better level, you can't say you can blame it on us. Okay, Sharon.
Yes.
Going from there, I want you to show them this, would you? I'm gonna get it right here first in the first place. Right here, show it to them. While you're on the show it to them, I'm gonna click on it. What is it?
It is our hot button. I'm going to take mine off real quick because we don't have another one laying here.
Yes.
But here is our hot. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay. I don't know why I couldn't get it right this time. But that's our hot button. And we use these to remind everyone that you need to be, or you should be, or you strive to be hot in your relationship. So it says HOT, and underneath it says Taking the Journey Together. And it's just a reminder that you should always be hot. And hot means or stands for
honest,
open,
and transparent.
And that's what
that's
you
right.
should always strive
Those who are thinking about it the wrong way, Yeah, I got it wrong. You just missed that lesson.
Okay. But you know what? Sometimes the other hot's okay too.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
But this is the one that should be okay all the time.
That
All the time.
foundation.
You need to strive for this 100% of the time. And it's a work in progress for everybody. I know that. Well, at least it is for me.
So we are going to be talking about a bridge statement. We're really on 3, aren't we?
Uh,
Yeah, part 3.
is
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
three?
yeah.
Okay, I
It
thought it was
is.
four, but okay.
Well, could it be 4?
Anyway, it's part the next. How about
Exactly.
that?
So we're going to go over real quickly because I know people are out there waiting to hear what we are going to say about what they call the slap that was heard around the world. It's just all over social media. It's all over television. It's all over. I mean, I saw this little guy riding on the bicycle and he shouted, looked at me, "Hey, did you hear about the slap?" I'm like, "What?" And he kept on going. So it's all over the place. And we just could not help after hearing about it and seeing about that. Hey, it was about a relationship. Of course, it was about a relationship that to do with Will and Smith. I mean, Will and what's her name?
Jada.
Jada.
Yes.
And so we basically said we better pick it up because there was something on that was peculiar, but at the same time, there was a lesson hopefully we can learn. And when it comes to relationships, especially conflicts.
Yes.
And that's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about what are the statements, what are the bridge statements you can use in conflicts of a relationship, because it's not when or if you're going to have a conflict in a relationship. It's all about what? When you're going to have conflict.
When.
Because
Always.
exactly, because relationships are not perfect and we are going to have conflicts.
Yes.
And if you especially don't have much common with one another,
Mhm.
you're going, and you're very strong will, and the other
Yes.
person's strong will, you're going to find many times you're going to be running into some conflicts, loggerheads, or
Yeah.
basically y'all ain't hearing each other, or we ain't hearing each other.
And you can always count on it too when
Mhm.
everything seems to be going well and there's not a hiccup, not a blip, not
Mhm.
a anything that is in your relationship. It's just like smooth sailing. That's when you need to really be prepared because there's always something lurking to
What
upset the apple
I,
cart.
I'm not going to say always. No, I wouldn't say
Oh,
always.
yeah.
I would say that since it's not a if or when, then something could be coming up that may not be anything to do with you two.
That's
It
true.
could be outside family,
Mm-hmm.
friends,
Yes.
job, things like that.
Mhm.
It could be pressuring you.
Yes.
Or it could be like,
Something could go wrong in the house.
oh,
Like
it could be like a comedian that says something to you that you're not happy about. So it could be,
yeah,
again,
yeah,
cause a conflict in your
exactly,
relationship
exactly.
and make you feel defensive or
Mhm.
make you feel offensive, or even worse, you get evasive.
Yes.
And those kind of things happen. And that kind of stress that you get in your relationships, we are talking about some great stress management, some stress management. And there's actually about 5 stress. Hey, say it for me, Sharon. I can't say it well. Go ahead, my beard's in the way.
Stress management strategies.
Exactly. One of them is preemptive strike.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one?
Postmortem.
Okay. Another one's protective type.
And then there's the admission statement.
And then the one we're talking about right now is going to be the bridge statements. Now,
Yes.
we're going to get into these other management strategies we can use, but we're now talking about, again, the bridge statements. And wow, what a time to talk about a bridge statement that should be brought up. Now, we're going to real quickly, we already know bridge statements are kind of used during that very turbulent time in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's like turbulent water. Both of you two are not seeing eye to eye. Both of you are feeling like you're not connecting whatsoever. Both of you are in turn looking for compromise or capitulating with one another, and you're not paying attention, as we talked about before, that turbulence may not be you. That turbulence is just that turbulence, not you. Because at one time, you two loved each other so much, every day you were in the bedroom. Or the first time you saw each other, you couldn't get off the phone. What happened during that time when you two are having that conflict? It's the turbulence. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to blame it on the turbulence. It's not just you. And that turbulent water that's out there, that confusion that's out there, is making you feel that you should be responsible for it when you're not. And we got to build a bridge to what? Kind of bridge each other between, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about one of the first approaches so we can get into what we want to talk about today, what's been going on. What was one of the bridge statements that we talked about last time? Because we had 5 examples
Hmm.
of some bridge statements that people can use. They're not
Yes.
cure, but we can use. What was our first bridge statement we talked about?
It's you say to your partner, we are blessed by our spirits, gods, or the ancestors to be together.
Mm-hmm.
And we are on the same team.
Okay.
Got to remember that we are on the same team.
I that one is such important one because many a times I'll be honest with you, we kind of forget we're on the same team. I mean,
Yes.
many a times we go through the process of, again, with that turbulent water, we're strongly feel that separation, and we're like, nah, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. No, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. I'm supposed to do my thing, you're supposed to do your thing, and that's how we get along.
Mhm.
And what happens is we forgot that we took that vow, whether it's married or as a companion,
Mhm.
that was to death do us part,
Yeah.
or I swear I'm going to make you my, lover, or my
Exactly.
friend, or
Exactly.
that
I'll be there for you.
exactly. And so we forget about this was supposed to be a together thing. We
Mhm.
are supposed to be on each other's side. Okay. And what happens many times, we talked about that, is that our openness, okay, each one of us that moves in our own openness, we feel many times our openness means that we both are going to see things eye to eye. Wrong. Most of the time, when you get more open, that's when that is going to be most of the time you may not see eye to eye,
Exactly.
especially if you don't have things in common and you've really been growing the same block. You're not a high school sweetheart. You're going to find that more openness is going to open up some cans of
Worms.
worms, and it could be one of those situations where you feel more like a oppositeness between each other,
Yes.
not a connectiveness between each other, but more of an oppositeness
And
between each other
and
because that
if you
openness.
are feeling connected, it's more like in a tug of war.
Yes.
Like you're connected by that rope that you're each pulling from a different
Tit for
side.
tat. You
Yes.
see that a lot in relationships, a lot of tit for tat. And they say 80 to 90% of relationships that break up are because of these kind of arguments.
Hmm.
The differences that people feel between one another, that separation, we're not connected.
Yeah.
They are the largest percentage of why people break up. Hey, we got someone that said something, and let's go take a look at what it is. Someone is saying, "Hey, Mr. Butts, who's that?
Hey.
Hello."
Don't know. I don't want to mess up your name, but
See, Prada
glad
too crazy.
glad you're with us.
Yes, good to
Glad you're
see that
with
you're with
us.
us. Very glad. So, as we were saying before, going back to what we were saying, that separateness is not something you can't make a bridge to. That statement that you just got through making
Yes.
helps build that bridge over that troubled water.
Hmm.
A song you guys don't know, like a bridge over troubled water.
Yes.
That was but that's what that bridge statement helps us do. Let's go on to another bridge statement. Okay,
Okay.
what's the next one?
We will work this out.
Okay,
Okay. We will work
you
this
forgot
out.
the rest.
Yes,
I
I
know because
did.
you're reading our notes. Go
Yes.
ahead.
We will work this out by the Spirit or God's grace. Our Spirit, God, will give us an answer.
So there's that other very important one, which is if you got married, especially under God, under your church, or if you got married because of a spiritual connection,
Hmm.
do you then, after a while, forget about that? Was the reason why you got married, or you feel God put that stamp on it, that spirit put that stamp on it? Do you forget about
Yep.
it? Yes,
Yes.
it happens, especially long term ones. It happens. You forget about what there's a purpose and a reason why we're connected. My spirit or God put us together.
Hmm.
And because of this is a situation that we can't necessarily work it out because we're physically fighting over it, we're cursing over it, we're getting rageful over it, we really can't deal with it, we're being stubborn. Maybe it's time to take it off of our burden and then some folks say turn it over to Jesus, turn it over to God,
Yes.
turn it over to the Spirit. Maybe that's what
Exactly.
we need to
Yeah.
do. And that statement is one of those times you use that bridge statement
Hmm.
when you turn it over to
Yes.
God. You turn it over to your spirit. You
Yeah.
turn it over and takes that weight and pressure off of you two, especially when you two are not seeing eye to eye. What do
Hmm.
you think about that, Sharon?
I think that's absolutely important and necessary. And somebody has got to be able to say, you know, How about this? Let's step away from it for a minute and see what message we get from the
Mm-hmm.
spirit as to how we should handle this. Let's move on to something else that we can agree on. And that may be just what is necessary for you to be able to calm down, to look at it differently, because you end up, as you get that rage and that anger, or that disappointment,
Mm-hmm.
or that just like, as an example,
Mm-hmm.
a few days ago, when we had planned on doing something and
Mm-hmm.
something else came up and we couldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was extremely disappointed
You
about
were
that.
in your feelings. Yes,
I
you were.
was, I was, I was definitely in my feelings, and I did not handle it well at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of,
No, folks, she did nothing physical.
no, I went into the evasive stage.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, whatever, however you see it, whatever works.
Yeah,
It was,
didn't pay no attention to me whatsoever,
no, it
but
was,
said hi to the neighbor. When the neighbor said something to her, hello, I'm like, oh wow,
yeah, I
she
was,
wouldn't talk to me.
I and I did that just because that interrupted me being in my feelings.
Okay,
But one good thing did come out of that, though.
what's that?
The fact
Never
that,
said hi back to you.
no, I
I'm
said,
joking. I'm
yeah,
joking.
no, no.
Okay.
See, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't even see him, but when he said hello to me, that jarred me out
Mm-hmm.
of my evasiveness.
But see, but that was
So,
that's an example of how
mhm,
you were not feeling connected to me.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
and you easily, because of that, felt connected to somebody just saying hi because it was a courteous thing to do,
Hmm.
and he was a particular neighbor, so you just did it automatically because you didn't feel connected to me at that
Right.
particular time. And that's one of those
Hmm.
examples when we don't feel connected to one another, we sometimes will be more nicer to somebody
Hmm.
else
Yes.
than we are to the very person that we say we care about, we love,
Hmm.
and we at one time felt we were supposed to be
Yeah.
connected together. That happens.
Exactly. But that jarred me out of that negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I've been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And and I knew you didn't deserve for me to have that attitude, because I
Mm-hmm.
know that you weren't feeling good about the change either,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And so it was, and so that's when I walked over to you and apologized and said, let's just wait and see what happens.
yeah. There was it was something that her and I wanted to go do, but something else came about, so we couldn't get it done. I had to settle it because I really didn't want to, but the decision had to be made, especially since you were at work. And when I came to you about it, you basically thought that the decision I made was something that I was comfortable with, which I wasn't. And of course, I didn't show you face wise, it wasn't comfortable, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And you then went through the process of you feeling uncomfortable. You didn't know during the process before that I was already going through the uncomfortable process, and I just had to be the bad guy to deliver it to you.
And this is where delivering with a bridge statement
Mm-hmm.
would have made a difference. If you had made the bridge statement, say, I got to say something to you
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not comfortable with, and I know
Wow,
you won't be comfortable with.
that's right. I did. Oh, we got someone up here.
Was a great way to address, is that what is a great way to address any issue for married couples?
Yes, I guess you're just saying this is what we're doing, giving a great way to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's somebody else. Let's give her somebody else.
Stay out your feelings, and anything else can be worked out. You are so right.
You know,
You are so right. And
that's an imaginary world,
exactly,
a
exactly.
perfect world, but that's happening. And so the bridge statements are all about being in the real world.
Yes.
Because in a thriving relationship or a balanced or healthy relationship, you live with the fact that you're not going to live in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
You live in the fact, like what we're talking about when it comes to conflicts. You live in a world that is not if, it's when.
Yes.
So then you have to find some techniques, just as you just talked about, to help bridge during
Mhm.
those particular
Yeah.
times.
Yes.
And help you move on in your relationship, because you're about trying to grow in your
Mhm.
relationship. You're not trying to go always 2 step forwards, 1 step backwards, 1 step backwards, and 2 step forward, even though that happens sometimes.
Yes.
But you're all about trying to grow and expand your relationship. So these are the kind of techniques you can use to help you move in that relationship during those conflicting times, because they will happen. We talked about the first one that had to do with that we all together.
Mhm.
We talked about the second one that says, well, if we can't handle this, we don't feel together, together, let's not forget that God put us together, our spirit put us together, our ancestors put it together. So let's talk to that particular individual, that being or whatever it is that we felt put it together, and see if we can get an answer from that. Sometimes you see that as giving us some time out, because sometimes what it is just time out. And that timeout helps kind of how comes things kind of settle together, kind of sift like sand to get settled, and then it's easy to come back and talk with each other with some kind of sense. No doubt about it. Both of those bridge statements help bridge you through that period.
Yes, and being in your feelings, you just got to get out of them.
Yes,
you get, because a lot of us are very emotional people, and it just depends. And you're going to have to deal with those emotions, and you can even say, let me step back because I got to deal with this. Give me a minute or whatever. You know how we do. It's like, not now. Don't talk to me about it now. I need a minute. But you have to be able to do that in the right way. That's not a good bridge statement, but it's a starting place for you to say, baby, please understand. This is new. This is bothering me. I need a minute so that I can come to you correct.
Okay. I can't use the James Brown one. Baby, 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 baby. I can't use that one?
No.
Not gonna work? Oh, okay.
No.
I thought maybe it'll help out a little bit in the conflict.
It
worked out for James Brown.
I thought you were getting ready to do the one where he was pleasing, but the
please. Nah, I'm not doing that one.
No, that's why
I do the first one, but I'm not doing the other one.
That's why I looked at you like that. I'm like,
so would you feel much better if I did say please, please, please during those conflicting times?
No.
Why wouldn't you?
Because
what? Because
I would need more than that. I need that bridge statement.
Excuse me.
No. Because please, please, please is going nowhere.
Oh, shoot.
Please what?
Okay. Everyone out to listen, don't try it then. Okay. James Brown can work it. You ain't going to work. Not with this lady. Ain't gonna work.
But he had some other words that went with it.
Okay, it did.
And so there was that
so
feeling.
So a brother pleasing ain't good enough for you?
No, pleading is good, but I need to know what you're
Keith Sweat ain't did you no good?
We're not going to talk about Keith Sweat.
Well, I like Anita Baker. She would go through the process of please forgive me
but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You've got to have the something else with it.
Okay.
Just the please, 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 please.
Okay.
It's like, please go away. and try, and
you ain't right.
I know.
So the bridge statements, as we're talking about,
Works.
are much better statements to use.
Yes.
Really they are.
Yes.
They really are better to use. Okay, so let's go on our statement 3 now. This is the statement, our bridge statement 3, that comes us and brings us around to the topic at hand. And our topic is all about in conflicts. That's what we put out.
Yes.
When we what do we say we do? Lose our temper and our control, right?
Yes.
Do we, when that happens, do we do what? Do we sometimes do what? When you lose and get angry and make a bad choice, do we sometimes physically go into altercations?
Oh, yeah.
Do we sometimes physically use our hand? Now,
or
I know
throw things.
I know if we speak this, most of you probably will not put out there and raise your hand and say that. But hey, we know it has happened.
Yes.
We know that there has been either slaps, or there's some knockdown fighting that has happened in your home. And you know it.
Yes.
So this is where these conflicting, or in this case, prevention of these conflicts can help out. Because these bridge statements are all about trying to, what is it?
Calm the waters.
Exactly. Or some people say trying to put some water on, trying to keep it from actually getting larger into a flame.
Yes.
So it goes from being upset, being perplexed, to being anger, and then outright a rage. Yes. And then from there, physical violence. So these bridge statements are going to help you with doing this before you ramp up into a
Yes.
portion where you have no control at all. So let's look at this third one, this third bridge statement. Assuming that someone has a better intentions than what their relationship conveyed is often another way of avoiding these difficult fights. For example, in your relationship, do you think you are immune to getting so angry that you make a bad choice like a slap or a hit, or maybe all of a sudden you reach out and want to choke somebody
Yeah.
or hit somebody with a pan?
Or when you're feeling that way,
Mm-hmm.
could you use a bridge statement instead?
Could you use a bridge statement
Yeah.
instead? I don't know. But let's say this. This is a story all about how the Oscars night got turned upside down. I'd like to take a minute just to have you sit right there. I'll tell you how Will Smith and Chris Rock became the talk of the town, and now you see them everywhere. Yes, that's going to be what we are getting to.
Yes.
I'm going to turn over real quickly and have you actually get a chance and look at that video real quickly as we go in and try to analyze it. So here it goes.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay. Okay.
Wow. So, want to ask everybody out here who had a chance to see that maybe for the first time or the second time or the third time or the fourth.
Or you've lost count.
Exactly. Was this scripted or was this whole thing planned? Was
Or
it
was it just
scripted
spur of the moment?
or was it planned? Or as Sharon said, spur of the moment. Please give us some comments real quickly. Put up your comments and we would love to hear it and talk a little bit about it. Was it scripted? Was it planned?
Or was he in his feelings at that moment?
Exactly.
Yeah, was he truly there?
Many of our relationships operate in any one of those three.
Yes.
Sometimes we plan to get mad at our mate.
Exactly.
There are other times we'll script something, meaning we manipulate and plan all day or for a couple of weeks over something that we're going to trip up or we're going to present.
Or just kind of stew over some little thing until it becomes a major thing in the relationship. And you just kind of just stir it, keep adding fuel to it all by yourself until it's a big blow up and you're real angry.
Here's somebody right here.
There you go.
I think she said it again.
Stay out your feelings, and anything else can.
And sometimes you just can't stay out of your feelings.
Yes.
It looked fake. Ellis, I feel the same way too. I really do.
Yes.
Let's see what Mrs. Prada T Crazy says. His tears were dealing.
Oh, so you believe it?
Yeah, I think she said she
you
believed in so many
it.
words.
Okay.
So I mean, you can give us some more comments too. We'll be glad to put it up there. Again, when you look at that, again, we script, we plan, and then we have spontaneous times that our conflicts come into play in a relationship.
Yes.
That's right. We're not always spontaneous in our fights.
Right.
Many times we're scripting and we're planning them. We're planning them.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that you get to that point and you're saying, okay, I'm not going to lose this one. Oh, his tears were realer than the slap. Okay, yeah,
Ah, okay,
yeah.
okay,
The slap was, it left a lot to be desired.
okay.
Um, so yeah, I have to agree with you on that one.
And let's and I was talking to the engineer a little bit further. He also feels like I do, that it was, I think it was scripted. I think it was sharing to say scripted reality. A lot of these shows that look at the reality really scripted. I'm also an audio engineer, so I did a lot of audio background for plays and movies, and of course I do audio engineering for events and stuff like that. So when I looked at that, I looked at it where in such a way that the actual slap itself, when it hit Chris, it didn't correspond to a sound. And this is what I mean to a
Mhm.
sound. Um, he would have had to probably had a level L mic, and that means it was a mic that was someplace on his neck or someplace, because he didn't have one in his hand.
You know,
So
probably on his lapel or
exactly,
something.
and
Yeah.
level L mic is just a long little mic that you wear someplace to
Mhm.
hide the wires behind it, so he
Yeah.
can talk. But it basically allows him to be able to speak clearly, so you can hear his voice. The high side, because Chris got a high voice.
Yes.
Okay, so that means the high frequencies
Annoying.
into the low frequency.
Mhm.
But when Will hit him, and Will was supposed to have hit him in the face, well, you can hear it now. You hear it? If you get hit in the face, you're going to hear a slap, because
Yeah.
this is skin to skin. That mic should be able to pick up that higher frequency. I didn't hear it as an audio engineer. I heard like a thud.
All I heard was what sounded like he hit the microphone.
Exactly. So,
You know, because like when you hit these,
you
yeah,
hit it like this.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That's all I heard.
yeah. So I can't. I just don't necessarily believe that that was real. I think it was a scripted reality they set up. Now let's.
Here's the, wait,
Mm-hmm,
I just had a funny thought a minute ago.
mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be interesting if all of a sudden they do announce that there's a G.I. Jane 2 coming out and Jada has the starring
I
role?
am not going to go there. I'm not going to go there, because one of the next phrases that comes up is going to shoot down what you said. You need to stop. You need to be ashamed of yourself actually saying that. I'm going to stick to this first one first,
Okay.
because I am a conspiracy nut on a lot of things. Okay.
Yes.
I think that because of the fact the next day, or was it Tuesday? Tuesday, we were going to actually have this country for the first time in almost 10 years, if not further, 100 years, you'll talk more about it,
Mhm.
that the lynching, what?
The lynching bill.
The lynching bill actually is going to and was actually signed. We're
Yes.
talking about over 100 years
100
they were
years.
lynching folks, especially black
Yeah.
folks. And who was the first one who introduced it?
His name was George Henry White, and he was the only black man in Congress at that time.
North Carolina.
Yeah, from North Carolina.
And in 1900.
Yes.
And then Bobby Rush put it in a couple of years ago. So the significance of how long it actually took for something that was killing us, and we were hanging on. What's that one song that Work Hard made? Strange Fruit. Okay. And then the lynching museum that's someplace up the road.
Yeah.
I feel that that slap was there just to soften it, to water it down, to make it something that we don't think too much of an emphasis of. And a lot of people I know didn't even know about that the lynching bill went through and was signed. You know that? Because they're still, we're talking about what?
Will
The
Smith.
slap that was around the world. So that's my conspiracy. That's my thought. If you feel the same way, put it up there. But that's what I thought. I thought it was some people call a false flag. It was just up there to take our attention, and not giving that real credence in the necessary, how can I say it, understanding of something that we as people of color for years lived under, and still
for
and
years.
still, yeah.
We're talking 122
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
122 years. That means that any of our ancestors who were around at that time, we probably didn't even get to meet them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that is,
And a lot of them were dead, were hung.
and that's just how long it has been.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when some of us can name relatives, fortunately I can't, who were hanged. You know, you hear the stories about the lynching, and there's so many different ways that they found that. I mean, lynching, you get creative in lynching.
Oh wow, yeah.
Tie somebody to a truck and drive off with them, and
That's the one that was not too long ago that happened.
yeah, in Texas someplace. I
Exactly.
mean,
The young boy was hung on a swing set. Remember that show we saw?
yeah,
He was hung on a swing set
yeah,
and then swapping down. Oh no, nothing happened whatsoever at all.
right.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, for something, for so many things this week that should have been um celebrated, we get a slap, a scripted slap.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
it's like at some point in time, we have got to stop letting um, other things interfere with our celebrations.
And we really do. We really do.
Yeah.
Because it's like we've just really don't have much respect and don't really hold sacred our past,
Yes.
let alone knowing about the good positive things that we did and created
Mhm.
and moved forward on this earth in this particular country for
Exactly.
past. But even those sad things that have happened, just as the Jewish people and other cultures have did,
Mhm.
and that balance in this world, we don't even hang on to them or say much about them and make sure it
Exactly.
doesn't happen again. But this bill was all about that, to make
Mhm.
sure that it wouldn't happen. So that's just my conspiracy thought on that particular matter. Going on to your phrase you said, okay, what you said goes on to a phrase where a lot of people phrase that, hey, he was just protecting the black woman. Time and the place be damned.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, I don't think that what you just said goes along with that other thought process.
Right.
That Will was protecting his woman.
Yeah. And I have to say, she did look very uncomfortable.
When you watch it again, you see that she kind of gave him a kind of look like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't think that was cool.
Yeah. She looked very uncomfortable.
Well, if it's scripted, she was scripted in it too. Either they didn't let her know.
Exactly. Exactly. But I still think it was unwarranted, taking into consideration what's going on with her, whether it was scripted or it was just something that was done. It was still in bad taste.
Don't let us just hold the whole conversation, conversation. So if there's any guys out there or women out there that also feel like he did the right thing because he was protecting his black woman, and to make a difference where the time and place was, especially since there's a lot out there that says black men don't protect the women, goes all the way back to slavery time of when black women a lot of them were raped.
Mm-hmm.
And hurt violently, and they're saying that black man
Mm-hmm.
was not there. You can kind of still see that historical kind of mind thought that some men feel guilty, black men feel guilty about it, can't be there, and black women
Mm-hmm.
will bring that kind of blame that you ain't really been there for me.
In our relationships today.
Yeah, it is.
It's still very prevalent in our relationships, to the extent that we a lot of women will say very clearly that they don't expect a lot from their man, even though they married him, even though they say they love him, even though they say he loves them, but they still have this attitude of, I can't count on him.
Exactly.
He's done everything, he's always been there, but somewhere in the back of the mind, you feel that you can't count on. And that is some of this toxic propaganda that we have, that has been following us in our relationships, and we've got to get rid of that in order to have
some say it's like a DNA memory that kind of passes on.
Yes.
Kind of the same way some people look in the family and say, hey, you act like an uncle, you act like a particular aunt.
Yes.
And that uncle and aunt may not even be alive.
Yeah, you may have never met him.
Exactly. So there's no doubt about it that it has carried in our particular relationships. And you can see that ideal, that strong balance of we are to be together. Even if we even said it at the beginning, but now long-term in a relationship before, I don't believe that whatsoever. And I have no support from the community. I have no support from media. I have no support with just me. My kids don't support me whatsoever.
No.
My family doesn't support me. So this idea we're supposed to be together, you could see that added to that. No, I'm not going to think we're supposed to be together. No, that ain't going to happen.
And even if we are supposed to, even if we are comfortable living together and living in that same space, when the chips are down, nobody else has come to my aid, so why would I expect you to? That's not what our relationship is about.
Exactly.
But it is what it's about. And that's what you've got to build to get right.
A thriving relationship, a balanced relationship, or a spiritual relationship is all about that. Okay, let's go on to the next one that has to do that slap that's heard around the world. Did it display a toxic masculinity? How many guys who will listen to this right now, do you feel, go to put it in our comments, did you feel that this was displaying toxic masculinity? What's toxic masculinity out there, sir? Since those who might know, and you're the English teacher, so tell us, Mrs. Knoll at all.
Right. Don't even fool yourself into that.
Okay.
What as my grandmother said, what I know would fill a thimble.
Well, come on, give us the thimble
Okay.
then. The thimble's worth.
Okay.
That's a good shot glass.
The thimble's worth is toxic masculinity refers to males behaving badly, basically. The whole attitude that males have to react or act in a certain way in order for them to be manly enough. Otherwise you're just kind of weak, kind of, you know, you're not showing strong in your masculinity. You're showing more negative, just because you're out there. Ego is getting into the way here.
Oh, that could be one of them.
Yes.
Some people look at toxic masculinity as someone being a man, mostly, as being violent, too aggressive, bullying, harassing, homophobic, misogynistic. Exactly. Refusing to seek any mental help, because if I do that, make it seem like I'm weak.
Yeah.
Even physically, because when you think about it, at a certain age, men should be checking their colon and all that good stuff. Prostate. Okay, prostate and colon too at a certain age.
Yeah.
And I know I battled with that one from a male standpoint of view. Engaging in risky behaviors that could harm ourselves too at the same time, because it's the manly thing to do. And then the kind of I'm going to smoke and drink all I want. It don't make a difference what you say or do from that end. So that toxic behavior, exactly, over top is what I'm talking about. Yes. And causing in that relationship where you don't really share your power and your energy with your mate and your partner. And at the end, there's no doubt about it, at the end, most of the time, your partner will feel, no, you ain't connected to me.
You're right.
And you're going to feel, if you operate in that way, you're supposed to be connected to me, but the other person ain't feeling that way, because you ain't sharing that energy whatsoever. You kind of like, nah, I'm going to drag you along with me. That's how it goes from that end. So
it's like, why didn't you protect me? Why didn't you stand up for me? Why did you put yourself in that position? It's sometimes the situation.
Exactly.
As you were talking about those manipulated situations, and sometimes that's, you set things up and you set yourselves up in a situation where it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, I know you're not going to protect me, so I'll do whatever I need to do. And I'll take care of myself. Well, he's right there. And then you don't do anything about it. And you look at him and say, well, why didn't you protect me? Well, you didn't expect him to in the first place.
Exactly. Or you may feel that if he is trying to reach out to give you a hand, it might be him trying to, show his emotion side, to understand your emotion side. And you may have that feeling, well, that's being less than a man, because you're trying to show your emotion side. And ain't nobody got no time for that whatsoever. You're like, okay, I ain't gonna say shit. Stop. I'm gonna say anything then.
Yeah. And also, the other flip side of that is, flip turned upside down. Of that is, if he does stand up for you, and then you turn around and say, "Oh, I could have handled that myself," and I didn't need you. Well, whose ego is out of whack? Looks like we've got another comment up there.
Yeah, let's see what that other comment is. Here it is, right here. Put it up here.
Thomas Barbie says, it was a joke from a comedian. Will Smith was wrong any way you address it. He should have talked to Chris and Jada off stage.
I like that. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a good action. No doubt about it. Part of bridge statements are you have to refer from an action that you would like to feel like doing, like a slap or a punch or a choke, or I'm going to hit you with the pen, things like that. You definitely have to refer to some other better strategy.
Yes.
The bridge statements are all about a strategy that has to do with words, and you especially want to start those out before you get too much into your feelings, especially when your feelings, we'll say it again, when your feelings start coming across in such a way that if I get real open, my mate ain't really connecting to me. And my mate ain't feeling like they're really connected to me.
Right.
And we're trying to be more open. We're trying to be more transparent. You can know then when that's happening, when that's happening, you two are not on the same page, and it's going to run into a conflict. It can go further than that. So you got to use that statement, that first one we talked about, to get you back on track again. We're here together. We're here on the same team. Let's work on this. And if you can't do that, I'll go to that next two. The next one is, well, hey, we're supposed to be together. This is what God put together. This is what the Spirit put together. So if we can't handle this, because sometimes you two are not, or we're not going to be able to handle it for whatever reason. We'll just, can it for a little bit, not forget about it, but we'll can it a little bit, take a little bit of separation, say, let God, let our ancestors or whoever kind of handle it, and come back, and you'll find things get settled, and the answer will be.
And you know how you do it. Let me pray on this a minute.
Yes.
And
meditate
and
on
it.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let's get to. We're not going to give him. We got a bridge statement for that. We believe Chris could have taken, no doubt about it, or well could have taken in this particular case. How about this one? And then we're going to get right to it. Doesn't Chris Rock have the freedom of speech? Those out there who believe that, do you believe that Chris Rock had the right to the freedom of speech when it came to him saying what he said?
And
does he have that right?
And that also goes into your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the freedom of speech in your relationship? Can you say anything just because it's on your mind, just because you think it might be funny, just because? I'm
like that person that's at you saw the commercials when they were coming in off the airplane and coming into the baggage place, and someone would stand up with a card like this and have the name of the person, and anybody would walk up to him and he would say, "Are you yelling in that? So and so, so forth." Another person would say, "Yes, I am." So in this particular case, you would have to say what?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And you should, but what's the other side of that?
Yeah, exactly. You have the right to speak that.
Yes.
Anything in your relationship. But we are also saying in that particular case, because that's what happens when you get more open. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You take off all the faces and all of the facades that you were playing, or what's that poem that we'll call it? Made we wear the mask.
We wear the mask.
We grin and weave.
Dunbar.
Exactly. We take that off during an angry time, and boom, we show our true colors. And we know some people right now who are very spiritual and open to the world, no doubt about it, as they should. But when they get to one another, they can be ghetto-like.
Oh, yeah.
They can be angry-like. They can be more human-like, if you may want to say, and not so divine.
Yes.
But one thing is for sure, because that's all about being human. We don't want you to get too inhuman. We want you to stay humane.
Exactly.
Stay humane.
Exactly.
And so here's a statement that we think would work well. I know you guys are waiting for it. We're finally getting to it. This statement that could have been made, okay, because even though he had the freedom to speak that way, it did not mean he had the freedom from what?
Consequence.
Exactly.
And that's what I tell my students all the time. You always have the choice of a decision. But when you make that decision, you also need to own it, but you also need to own the consequences that are going to come with that consequences, whether it's good or bad.
Reaping and sowing principle.
Yes.
What you reap or sow, you also going to reap.
So
shall we. Now, most time when we hear that particular statement, it's usually based on something negative that you sold, and therefore it's coming back on you.
Yes.
Well, in a thriving or healthy or what we call a spiritual relationship, you are about trying to sow what? Positive,
positivity,
uplifting, balanced seeds. Really,
yes.
That's what you are trying to plant. Because then when you do that, you will get back a harvest, or you'll get back some plants, or a response or an action that will be that which you planted. And these bridge statements are those seeds.
Yes.
It's not denying that you're upset. It's not denying that you have trouble in between the water. It's not denying any of that.
Right.
It's basically planting a seed that allows you to be able to bridge each other between one another in those particular times, and plant a seed that later on that seed's going to move and germinate in such a way where you still can stay connected to one another and relating to one another in relationship. So that's very important for us to understand in the reaping and sowing principle, to try this one. Okay, here it goes. Our fourth one. Do you want to read this one? This bridge statement. Now, our third bridge statement that we think that would work with the slap that is around the world, because I know some people are waiting to hear that right now.
Yes. What could have been used is, I believe you had the best intentions.
Now, who's going to be saying this?
Will would be saying this
Okay, to who?
to Chris.
Okay.
Okay. I believe you had the best intentions, but it hurt my wife and I. And as black people, we're on the same team.
Wow. Say that again. Like, so people can really hear that.
From the beginning,
Yes.
okay? I believe you had the best intentions, but it hurt my wife and me. And you know, as black people, we are on the same team.
Yeah. I believe you had the best intentions, my brother, but you hurt my wife and I. And I know we as black folks are on the same team.
Mhm.
We've been through the same kind of stress.
Yes.
That could have been a very good bridge statement. He could have said to either privately walking off the stage, or for me, he could have said that openly so all could hear. Because right now, what's going on is everyone's talking about, it looks like a violence called a black on black what? Crime.
Yes.
A black man fighting another black man at a level that you think should not happen. That's whatever the word is kind of coming out of that whole thing. And that's another understanding that a black people's conflict around the world that is still felt as a stereotype that we're trying to move away from.
Yes.
Came and was created out of that. That bridge statement would have easily kept that seed from actually growing. You got someone that's saying something here, Sharon?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just checking on what that was. But yeah, we and that's something that we need to use in our relationships too, because not every time something hurts us was it intended that way, you know. And I know I'm speaking from the female side right now. Um, as it was stated earlier, stay out your feelings.
Yes.
Well, I'm a very, very sensitive female, and I will fall into my feelings like that. But then it doesn't take me long to jump back out of my feelings either. But I need my minute sometimes, and that's when um, I can pull myself together and say, you know, I believe you had the best intentions. Even like the other day when you had tell me about that change in plans. I understand that it's for the best, but it hurt me just dropping it in my lap, just dropping it on me like that. You know, I remember, and you have to remember, we're on the same team, so we're gonna work this out. You know, that helps you to pull it back together. That helps you to bring both of you back together. And if it's time that you need to commiserate, then commiserate by all means. But do it together. And it's
Which
not
commiserate. You said a big word real quickly. Help us out.
Don't do that. Anyway,
that's why I asked you. Help us out so you don't have to.
Okay, commiserate. When I use that word, it means in a nutshell to wallow in our pain and disappointment together. So we can have our hurt feelings.
Misery loves what?
Company.
Exactly.
Yeah. So be my company as
our
we have
misery.
to deal with this.
Exactly.
Yes.
In a bridge statement is used in such a way where you don't bridge in that way.
Right.
You definitely don't bridge in that way. No doubt about it. These bridge statements that we've been talking about from the beginning, we're on the same team. We're together. God has put us together. The next one, if we can't handle it because of that water between us is really not us. It's another thing that's happening. Like in this case, Chris Rock, who spoke something on the outside that was sensitive to her and also sensitive to him through the red table and all that stuff they've been talking about. Also to the last one we just brought up. I believe you had the best intentions. Yeah, he did. He's a comedian. His best intentions to make the best jokes he can.
And to make folks laugh.
Exactly. I've seen him do better before for the jokes. They seem kind of canned. Really, I'll be honest with you when he did it. But it hurt my wife and I. And if that's a real friend, Chris is a real friend, then he would be able to understand that. And as black people, we what? Should be on the same team. Not are, because we really times ain't on the same team, but we should be on the same team. You figure at that height, he just did the movie called
King Richard.
King Richard, which I really loved, really liked. Yes. What a unique brother Otis can be doing what he did strongly, sat on his principles, taking care of his young girls of that particular family, the young women, and they turned out to being what he dreamed them to be. Talking about
Exactly.
dropping the seed of a dream and then from there coming to pass.
Yes.
What a brother to be able to do that and to look up to. But
Yes.
again, we have that societal problem in this country and in this world, that stereotype. In that should have been addressed with a good bridge statement. What a learning situation we could have got out of it.
Mhm.
Two brothers at that height can know that they can still be friends at that particular height, and know that sometimes
Yes.
friends don't always say, hey, you guys been with close friends, I know it all out there have been too. Your friends don't always say what you want them to say. You don't
Yes.
always say what you want to say to your friends, but you two don't fall out because of that.
Mhm.
And we know that most of us black men especially need to do things in such a way where we can still talk with one another. My day used to be able to rap with one another.
Yeah.
So we don't fall out all the time like you see right now, have
Mhm.
beefs, have anything that you can think of that makes it feel like we ain't never going to be friends. We're never going to like each other. It's our competition.
Yes.
That to me is just an ongoingness of that Willie Lynch syndrome that we've really got to stop in our relationship.
Right.
When it comes to another friend, another
Mhm.
brother, or a person that you care about, like like we saw.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
no, I
sorry.
was just going to say, so basically what we should learn from this is that in our relationships, we need to make sure that we have the right kind of PDA, public displays of affection, as opposed to public displays of anger.
I like that. We're going to end that right there. I think my engineer in the back probably is ready to go. Hey, Mr. Engineer, we're going to let you go. Hey, everybody, make sure you use your bridge statements from now on. Let's not slap. Let's not pat. Let's hug, love, use a statement so we can move on. And remember, take your journey together as an adventure. Thank you. God bless. Ashe.
Until next time.
Uh-oh. I don't think he heard us. He must be on the phone. Let's see if we can help him out here just a little bit. Uh-oh. Yeah, you ready to go? Go ahead, take it. Go ahead, take it. Go ahead, take it.
like that.